All right. Good morning, you guys. How are we doing today? I am here with our special guest, good friend, and great, or should I say, outstanding author, Mark Tullius. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, very cool. I'm really digging your set there. I've got a lot of try not to die stuff going on.
Dude, try not to die. That is my focus right now. And it's hard because I have so many different things to work on, so many different projects, but I'm realizing that try not to die is it's worth it. I have probably like 15 to 20 books in the works. So
Awesome. And
yeah.
that's pretty. I mean, it's a pretty good metaphor, or not a metaphor, but a good thing for life as well. Try not to die, right?
Yeah, exactly, man. No, and I think that's I've always been obsessed with death and trying to avoid it. And this is just another way of kind of embracing it, man. It's like, yeah, we're all gonna die, so I don't know. Let's have some fun avoiding it.
Who was it? I think it was. I can't remember who. Maybe it was Jim Rohn or someone who said, "Hey, I got news for you. None of us are getting out of this alive," which I thought was pretty cool. But anyway, how was your weekend?
My weekend was the same as my week. Actually, no, I do like the weekends a little bit more because generally my wife takes the kids she distracts them so I can go sneak away, get writing done, do some brainstorming. That's where I get a lot of stuff done. And I also fit in a lot of guitar time too. I've been trying to teach myself guitar and bass, and I used to think of that as a waste of time because I was never going to get very good at it, but I really started because of my brain issues. Music is supposed to be incredible for your brain, traumatic brain issues. But I enjoy it. So it was like, if I played for 20 minutes or 40 minutes, it's like, no, I didn't just waste that time. Like, I enjoyed it. I did something for me. Maybe it wasn't work related, but who knows? Maybe it's going to shape my work a little bit or put me in a better place so I can work better. So
Awesome.
yeah, that's something I've definitely struggled with is, making time for myself.
Yeah. I think we're all feeling the pressures, especially right now with the world the way it is, and everyone's scrambling and trying to get things done, and we're forgetting to take that time. But yeah, we could talk about that for hours, I'm sure.
Yeah, and especially if you have your own business, because, dude, you have to do everything. Having to do everything, be in charge. I mean, you could always hire people, and which is the super important thing. But even that, you got to hire them and then tell them what to do. And so there's just so many different aspects. It could definitely get overwhelming, and it just makes it that much harder to really set aside that time. Be like, no, I do need to take care of myself so I can be better at doing everything else.
Yeah, awesome. Very cool. Well, again, thanks for joining me today. And for those people who are not familiar with you, which is like, 1% of the population at this point because you're a rock star. But let's just, or if you could just tell us a little bit about your backstory in a nutshell, maybe a 60-second thing, what you do, what you focus on, and all that jazz, just so people get some context of
sure
where we're going with it.
Well, I am an author. I started my career 8 years ago. I've been writing for a long time. I used to always write short stories, had a couple of failed novels. It was all writing experience. But my focus was always dark fiction. I would write horror, suspense, sci-fi, like dystopian, everything very dark. Everyone dies, usually. But then I also dove into mixed martial arts. I was a professional fighter, not a very good one, but I decided to go all around the country and I interviewed 330 fighters, like another 70 coaches at 100 gyms across the country for a sociological study, and that was for Unlocking the Cage. I'm following that up with a nonfiction book on traumatic brain injuries because I had a bunch of them and I have so many friends that have had so many. So that's one of the projects I'm working on now. The Try Not to Die series, which is young adult, but adults love it too. It's like the old choose your own adventure books. And yeah, man, they're just trying to pump out content. I think I have 10 books out right now, but I'm shooting for at least three a year.
Awesome. And I remember, we were chatting off camera just before about when we were talking probably 8, 10 years ago when you were just getting started with a lot of this stuff and how to pull it all together and whatnot. And I've read a lot of your books. I love what you do. And if you guys haven't picked up a copy of Mark's Bright Side, it's an excellent book. Which that was your first real
Yeah, that
one
was
that you
my
published, right?
first. Yeah, that's my first novel. It's my only. It has, I think, 100 plus reviews. People like it. It has like a 4-star rating. It's actually free. So if you go to marktullius.com, pick up the free ebook. Also, some retailers have it free. I think it might be free on Apple and everything. And I just finished Beyond Brightside. That launches next month, and the audiobook is actually going to be out in a couple of days. So
Yeah, awesome.
stuff.
You've been a busy guy pursuing your dream for a while, and you're doing a wonderful job. I love all your work. I think it's awesome.
Well, thank you. And dude, honestly, you were huge at that when I was about to launch Brightside. You were probably one of the most positive people. You gave me a lot of really good business advice, helped me get over a lot of my self-doubt. And then also when I was doing the Unlocking the Cage, again, super positive. You helped kind of guide me, help get me over some of the issues that I had that were preventing me from moving forward. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Let's explore that because that was actually one of the questions I wanted to ask you because I think you know we this crazy time that we're in right now with the world was moving more towards all online, but it's been accelerated so much by COVID. And we've got a whole bunch of people who were doing business offline. Now they're forced online, or they were doing a little bit online. Now they've got to do it all online, and it's uncomfortable for a lot of people. And I know from personal experience, and I know we've talked about it before. There's things that we get in our head that stop us from taking action. And when we get a negative review or a comment online, from hockey player 27 who says you suck or something like that, and all of a sudden it just hits us really hard. And I know personally, I've struggled with that from time to time and put out all this content and really given my best, and then some probably 13-year-old kid comes in with a negative comment, and it like tears your world apart. And have you experienced things like that?
Oh, yeah. No, it's been, dude, it was really hard at the start. I cared a lot more what people thought at the start. Then I got to a point where I realized, like, man, everyone has their opinion. Not everyone is going to like my writing. Like with Brightside, one of the not the latest review, but a recent review was, this is just a fart on a page. I got like a 1-star or a 2-star. And I've had brutal reviews, just talking all kinds of shit about me. But it's fine because there are lots of books that I just absolutely hate, but that other people love. I know a lot of people would not like my personality. Like I might be too much for them, or I might be too shy, or whatever. Like, so whatever. I probably wouldn't like them either. So I'm not going to take it personally anymore. If they like me, cool. If they don't, just as cool. But that took a while to develop. And fortunately, I have way more positive reviews than I have negative reviews. You're always going to get haters, but it doesn't stop me. I just recently started doing 30 days, a month of metal. So every day I'm forcing myself to put out content. Every day I'm doing a video on a heavy metal band that influenced me or my writing. And one of the things that almost stopped me from doing that was I was like, well, not really an expert. I've never done this before. And then in my back of my mind, I'm like, well, YouTube, there's going to be all these negative comments and all these assholes or whatever. None of that's happened, So it was like, that was something I didn't need to worry about. You could always delete comments, Honestly, if you don't care, like you should be confident in yourself, It's like, I know who I am. I know what I've done that's good. I know what I've done that's bad. I really don't care what this person thinks of me. They only know, a fraction of me or a fraction of what I'm showing. And honestly, if they don't like me or they don't like my products, who cares? There's so many people in the world. Like, I'm not trying to please everybody.
That's it. I think you really hit the nail on the head. And I think that's really something that we can all do better is not care about the one or two people that may give you a negative comment or something like that, when we've got 100 that love what we do. And I've had the same struggles, and I know a lot of our users, members and subscribers to You Can Follow Me, they go ahead and set up their account and start to get the ball rolling, but then something might come in and from the side and stop the progress. And I've been there and had that as well. And it's listening to that and getting in our head too much about what other people think. They're just tearing down the dream at that point. And so I think it's really important to look at it and say, yeah, well, I've got 100 people that love this, and I've got 2 that said otherwise. Well, that's pretty good. Let's focus on the 100. How do we do more of that and less worry about the other stuff? So, but anyway, what else? So online, and I'll pull up You Can Follow Me profile in a minute, but you really push a lot of content and you're getting stuff out there. And I know at the start, before we were talking about your book, Unlocking the Cage. And can you just share with our audience what the struggles were? And we talked a little bit about self-sabotage and that whole thing and what happened there.
Yeah, no, I'm the king of self-sabotage. I've done it pretty much my entire career. I don't know if it was a fear of failure or, dude, I was a perfectionist. So if I didn't think I was going to do something perfectly, I wouldn't do it. I would get overwhelmed. So there's just so much going on. But with Unlocking the Cage, I did all this work, and I knew the importance of a successful book launch. That makes all the difference between a book doing well or not well. You have to be on social media. You got to be pumping stuff out. I had a whole plan, and then I shut down. And for 3 months, I got off social media. I was like, fuck social media. I can't deal with it right now. I didn't realize at the time, but I was going through a pretty bad depression, and I just couldn't do it. And it was probably the fear of failure. It was the, not having the confidence in the book because it was something different. To me, the book was boring because it wasn't made up. It wasn't fiction. It wasn't where I could kill people, But I was thinking about this last night. It's like, man, I did a disservice to all these people that I'm calling my friends, that are my friends that are in the book, because they had an important message. And I think overall, I did pass on an important message about these mixed martial artists. But because I didn't take the steps and because I gave into this, the self-sabotage, I kind of let them down, let myself down, and people that could have benefited as readers. That was one of the things my brother was pointing out to me yesterday. He's like, you got to realize that what you're giving people, like it adds value to their life. It's easy for me to think, well, I'm just writing about death or about killing people or whatever. He's like, no, man. He's like, that's bullshit. He's like, you're preserving ideas. You're like 25 Perfect Days, dystopian fiction, but it's about all the shit that's happening right now, and I'm writing a story right now called Stuffed that's going to come out on Thanksgiving. And it's a commentary on all of our lives. So I do need to, really embrace that. Like, yeah, you know what? I do have something good. And if I read the reviews, I can see that even if it's just me giving someone a couple hours of enjoyment, then that is of value, So I think it's realizing, okay, do I have a good product, and is it giving them value? And if that's the case, then there should be no hesitation in sharing it because, you kind of have an obligation to share it. If you think it will benefit someone else, then let's give it to them.
Yeah, and through inaction, we're really stealing from ourselves and our potential customers and audience and things like that. We have a message or we have something that can help them. We add value to their lives, and if we don't do that, then we're stealing from them. And that's how I started to look at things as well. Well, no, look, this is important. We've got to get it out. We've got to continue to add value to people's lives. And I think that's really important. And it doesn't matter if you're, um, a small business, you're an author, you're an independent consultant, you're a real estate agent, that we can add value in so many different ways, whether it's through customer service, the product itself, or whatever it might be. And I think that's key there. And when you take that extra step and really help people out, they appreciate it and things tend to flourish.
For sure.
So, yeah, very cool. So, we had you're saying that some of the challenges were self-doubt, self-sabotage. Have you explored why you would sabotage yourself?
Sort of. I went to therapy for a while too, as part of my traumatic brain injury recovery. I had to go into therapy and also looked at a lot of that stuff. Dude, I always had I looked at money as a negative thing for the longest time. Growing up, we looked, the rich people were assholes or whatever. I just had a very
negative... Hey, family show, man. Come on.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm kidding. You're fine.
A very negative outlook at that. So I think that was in my subconscious, and just, I don't know, so much of low self-esteem, all these different issues that I've worked on. So I think it was just a combination of all these factors. And, how, like, and especially starting out, I didn't have any proof. So I was like, how can I say I'm a good author if this is my first book, and it's self-published, and so there were all these reasons why I couldn't. I did a course where you have to try to figure out what's the negative voice in your head telling you all the time. What's your worst negative voice, or the one you hear the most often? And dude, mine was that I call myself a dumb shit, or an idiot. I was like, so I don't look at, I got a Ivy League degree, on brain games I could score at the top, but in my head I'm like, no, you're an idiot. And so
I wonder where, obviously somewhere along the line, childhood, parents, teachers, something, that thought got in your head, got in my head as well, and I think it gets in everyone's. And but then again, it's just like that one negative against the 100 positives or whatnot, and it's funny how the human mind will go to that to keep you safe rather than explore the possibilities of individual greatness, I suppose. So it's very interesting, all that psychology.
Yeah, because it's very easy to sit back and to be behind and maybe comment and like things, and where no one sees you and you're not putting anything out there that can either fail or succeed. But yeah, it's a whole nother thing to actually put it out there. Like, no, I'm going for it. This is what I have. This is who I am. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that's the whole, one of the really important points there is that people would rather be certain about a failure or something, be certain in their mind that it's not going to work, rather than take the risk and be excited by the prospect of something being incredible. And I think that's where people get paralyzed. It's that you get in your head, you're dead kind of thing. And we've got to remember to, we've all got a valuable message, something to help somebody, and we just need to share it. I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think another really big thing is like, okay, maybe you feel that, you could be a good author or whatever, and you have a good product, but then for the longest time I was telling myself, well, that's what I'm good at. I'm good at writing. I enjoy writing. I don't like social media. I don't like marketing. I don't know how to do that stuff. I don't. When it, honestly, watch a couple of videos that will tell you what to do, and or hire the right people, or like, so there's always an excuse why you can't do something, but then there's always a solution to, okay, no, it's not that hard. I can do this and I can be successful. And dude, it's all in our attitude. And man, if we had this talk a year ago, I wouldn't be talking like this. It's because of the different people that I've interacted with that have been super positive. I just did my friend Donna Gonzalez, she's a co-author on my Trying Not to Die on Brightside. I did a class, she did a screen performance class, and it's 2 hours long, and I wasn't expecting too much, but just that one class made me so much more comfortable on camera, and so there's little things like that, and that
Yeah.
didn't cost me anything. So there's,
Yeah.
if you want to get better at something, put in a little bit of time,
Yeah.
figure out what's going to help you. Don't think about all the steps. Be like, okay, well, I do want to get better at this. This is important, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this one class, and you're
Yeah.
going to
Exactly.
improve.
And just to you just popped a thought into my head. I was reading an article the other day. It's talking about video to promote yourself or your business, your personal brand, and all that kind of stuff. And what's just absolutely mind-boggling is I think the statistic was a landing page or order page or whatever it is that you have, if it includes video, it can help conversions up to 86%,
Wow.
which is just absolutely mind-blowing. So if you guys are listening to this or watching this, if you're not using video, whether it's like we are now, engaging in the conversation, or it's a personal video to somebody in your network, or just getting out there and putting yourself out there, adding some value. If you're not doing that, it's kind of like, you want to drive the car, but you're too scared to get in it. You've got to take that step, because this is the way that you get the sales that you need, or build your group or your audience and whatnot.
Yeah.
So for everyone, that's a killer tip. You've got to get your videos up and running, whether you're going live, whether you're doing an interview, whether you have, when somebody takes an action, say they opt into your list, on the thank you page, put a video on there that says, "Hey, welcome, thank you, appreciate you." And these are
I'm going
just
to do
like,
that today. I didn't have that, so I'm going to add that.
yeah, they're really great ways to connect. And I think people appreciate it when you're sincere and they can see who they're talking to, rather than just the perception of what they think you're like. But when you come across a video, you just communicate so much better. So most of us, except for me, I tend to bumble and stumble a little bit. But
well,
what I just wanted to jump in, if I can. So we talked a little bit about the emotional challenges, the mental narrative that's going on in their heads and whatnot. What are some of the tech challenges that you had? Because I know you promote, I think, I was looking at your profile, you had 12 links on your YouCanFollowMe profile. So you are all over the internet. Tell us a little bit about those.
Well, and before you contacted me about the link, dude, it was so messy. It was such a pain in the ass. It was one of the things I didn't like. I would try to put, like, when I would put a podcast coming out, I would do a description of the podcast, and then I would have all these different links. And so I don't know. And usually people wouldn't even see those links because they were below whatever the cutoff. So you would have to scroll down even to see the links. So having the "You Can Follow Me" link definitely helps, and I have that thing everywhere, because I have my YouTube page, and right now I'm trying to promote the heavy metal videos, so I'm able to just say, "Oh, link in bio," on Instagram or whatever. So being able to point everyone to the one link, because maybe they're there just to buy books and I have a link to buy books, but then they're like, "Oh no, I want to sign up for this guy's newsletter," or I forget all the things I have there, but all the Twitter, Facebook, where to follow me. And I might have a couple other links, but yeah, I have all the podcast links. So it's nice being able to have everything there. I can send it to someone. Not only are they going to find where they want to listen to the podcast, but then they might be tempted to, follow me here, or, buy my books there, whatever it is.
Yeah. I think that's one thing that I've talked about a few times, is we kind of get this cross-pollination going on, where somebody might know you from YouTube, but then they see that you're on Twitter or you're on Instagram or Facebook. And then what it does, it helps you go deeper with your audience and communicate with them on multiple channels. And I know we've had a lot of people who have multiple products, and like yourself, where you've got a lot of different books. But other people who have multiple products, where they work for multiple companies and they've got all their stuff in one spot. And what it does is they go, "Oh, the audience customer might come in and go to buy something and then say, oh, wow, I didn't know you did this, or I didn't know you were here. And so we're finding that it's really helping people out in that regard. So I'm super pumped that you're noticing the difference there as well.
Yeah, no, I think it's awesome. It makes a lot of sense, and it seems like such a simple thing. It's like, and why not do it? Like just to set up and everything. You helped me with mine, I got to admit, but thank you for
Hey, no, you're
that.
welcome. No problem. I'm going to try and share right here. I'm just going to pull up your profile so people can see it. So you're one of the early adopters of YouCanFollowMe, which is awesome. And what we've got here is we've kept the theme pretty much the same as per your website. Mm-hmm. So we're just bringing that consistency, which I think is really important. That if you guys are setting up your social media, you want to be consistent across your channels, have the same branding, the same theme. I know you have on your website these darker colors to kind of go in with your horror, sci-fi, suspense kind of dark fiction, which I think is great. And on your profile here, we've got, well, let's go through it real quick. We've got the first link here. We have your books on Amazon. So that obviously just goes through to all of those. And if you guys can see that. So you're pretty active here on Amazon, which is awesome. Now you've got your books in Kindle format and as hard copy. Is that for all of them or just some?
Most of them. I think all my books are on Kindle. I have In the Pandemic is coming out on the 31st. We're actually having a huge contest right now with 1,000 people reading it and voting on it every day.
Oh, wow.
But that paperback and Beyond Brightside will be coming out probably in another month or so. But the rest are all hard paperback or hardcover as well. And then I also have books on Apple, and some of the books are exclusive to Kindle. And so that's why I put just that link. I probably could have added the Apple link and some other ones, but I'm trying to focus on Amazon. That's the majority of my sales, where I generally want people to buy them from.
Very cool. Very cool. And so that's why on your YouCanFollowMe profile, you've got your big guns up front.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like your books. This is your cash register. This is where people go to buy your product, right? So that's why it's top of your list.
Yep.
The second thing we've got on here is your newsletter sign up. And I'm just going to go and click on here. And this is where you're taking or inviting people into your story or to join you as a newsletter subscriber. And you've got here what to expect from the newsletter, monthly email, updates on books and projects, ability to read Beyond Brightside 3 months before it's released, and a dark and twisted short story. So I think that's cool. This is, and I love this at the bottom here. You've got all my links in one place, and then you link back to YouCanFollowMe. So that's excellent. And that's something that we haven't spoken about. We've talked about, and when I say we, I'm just saying I haven't really done this or spoken about this, but you've gone ahead and done it. You have put your YouCanFollowMe link here on your website that points back to your YouCanFollowMe profile. So if somebody actually came to this from some other source, then they're going to find your YouCanFollowMe and be exposed to all of your other stuff. Mm. We hadn't really suggested that to people, and that's really cool that you've gone ahead and done that.
Awesome.
Goodreads. Tell us about Goodreads. What is
Goodreads is something I have not taken advantage of enough. That is where people who love books go. So that's their community. If you have a profile on Goodreads and let's say you want to read Twisted Reunion, you would add it to your shelf. So then all your friends see that you're reading this book. You would update it at the end. You would give it a review and leave a star rating. Again, everyone else can see that. You could recommend the book to friends. So that is where I really try to drive people to. That's where I want to start building up my followers. You're alerted to new releases. I could have conversations. That's where I could talk with people that have reviewed my books and liked them. And I've had some really good conversations there, even with people that are like on the fence, or they really like this one a lot, but they hated this one. And so it's good for me to see like, okay, my goal is to find my right fan. Not everyone's going to be my fan. I just want to find the right people, and I want to invite them onto Goodreads.
Killer tip right there, you guys. Mark just said to find his right fan. So for you, right fan translates to, for someone in another business, ideal client or perfect customer or whatnot. And that's who we really want to connect with. Is the person that we can help most, that love our stuff, rather than trying to convince people who are resistant to what we've got. So that's really cool. And I think what I just noticed here, and this is another awesome thing which I think you're doing, you're engaging here. I see there's questions from people. How do you deal with writer's block? What's the best thing about being a writer? And etc. And you've got answers to their questions here. So you're adding value to them, and you're just coming across as somebody who cares and is genuinely sincere and wants to help.
And I think that's something that I've realized is like one of my favorite things about being an author is being able to connect with these people that are, they've gotten something out of my writing. And so, yeah, I want to have those conversations, and that's what I really enjoy. And I think it really translates into creating better relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. And, some of us do it on social media and whatnot, where we answer questions. Some of us don't. I've got to get a lot better at it on some of my channels as well. But I think that's great. I think you're absolutely crushing it. Rockstar. Awesome. Then we've also got Instagram and Twitter. You've got your Facebook, LinkedIn. Now, this, I was curious when I saw LinkedIn because, when we've got Twitter, everyone's on Twitter. You say whatever you want, right? Facebook seems to be more friendly about, connecting and whatnot. But then when you go to LinkedIn, like when I think about LinkedIn, I think more of a professional poker face kind of, audience or way to behave. It's like Facebook with manners or something. I don't know.
That's
how has your experience been on LinkedIn, given that you're not, corporate world?
That's exactly my impression. I think that's fair, but at the same time, I don't care. Like,
I love it.
so I'm like, what? This is me. Here's what I'm doing. I'm in a tank top. I don't care. It's whatever. I have made some good connections on there. I don't post on there as often, but I include it in case someone does want to connect through there. So yeah, I don't take advantage of it like I probably should. Like I could probably do a lot more networking on there. And so if I'm going to use it, that's probably how I will use it, would be to network. But for sales and everything else, yeah, it's not the best thing. We could probably actually kick that to the bottom.
Got it. And then you've got your website here and all your info and short stories, a contest, and all that jazz there. Again, your newsletter sign up. One thing, I don't know if you're doing this, but for anyone else who is has a newsletter that you're getting people to subscribe to, are you adding a You Can Follow Me link in the autoresponder that goes back?
Good idea.
Yeah, so if you guys aren't doing that, that's another way that you train your audience to come back to your profile. Now, in Mark's case, would he rather promote 12 links? Or do you want to do one? I mean, that's the whole beauty of it, right? So that's another place everyone can use their You Can Follow Me link. Now, you've also got all your podcasts here. You've got 4 links: Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, and Stitcher. Is that a podcast on Stitcher? I'm not really familiar with that.
Yeah, I think I have a couple other. I just got on some other big sites and I can't even remember what they are. Oh, I think it actually might even be on Amazon now. I think Amazon might be having podcasts. But I forget. But yeah, I do a weekly podcast. You were just on recently.
Yeah.
Had a good little talk.
You know, it was funny. What I realized, like we had our conversation face to face, and you know, I have a funny kind of quirky sense of humor sometimes where I'll say something that's very dry and I won't, um, you know, I just kind of hold back on the expression. That doesn't translate well to audio.
Oh,
So I found that when you're doing a podcast, and hopefully this one's a little bit better, I'm still getting tongue-tied, of course, but uh, when you when you're on audio, you've got to be really clear with the questions and kind of keep a better structure, I feel, than being on video because the body language and whatnot is not there.
and that's something I forget all the time because yeah, I'm looking at my guest. If they're not here with me, I'm looking at them, and so I often do forget that, and I'm not really thinking about the people that are listening. I'm just thinking about the people that are watching. So that's yeah, I run into that same problem.
Yeah, yeah. Well, very good. Well, that's your profile in a nutshell. I'm gonna stop this screen share. That's it. All right. So I think we pretty much covered um, everything that I had on my list of what to talk about. Is there anything else that comes to mind or anything else that you wanted to share or any tips for anybody who's having any self-doubt or isn't sure what to do?
Um, I mean, I think it's an ongoing thing. You're not going to achieve it like immediately, but if every day you're taking a step, I write down everything on my pad. So I have to have my daily, like, here are the three things that I'm going to do today. Here's the order. Here's about how long it should take me. That doesn't take me long. I'll set that up the night before. And then I was like, okay, yeah, if I get all those done, now I can move on to this. I can do this. But I think an important thing is to ask yourself, how important is this to me? How important is this success to me? Before, dude, I don't need to make money. Luckily, my wife makes a lot. So that was one thing holding me back because I realized, like, well, I don't have to make money from my writing. I enjoy it. So I'm going to just keep doing it and doing it. I was like, now I've realized, no, this is important to me. I want to be successful. I want to be able to show my kids, look what you can do with hard work, dedication, and just persistence. Like if you just keep at it and you're smart about it. So now it's like, okay, this is important to me. Here's why it's important. And not only this, if I make this money, then I can do this, and she could retire, and then I could donate money to this, and I can do this. So it is important that I'm going to be successful. I'm going to do everything I can to get there, not at the expense of family stuff. There's always that balance between, I've struggled with that too, keeping the balance between family and my writing, and the business. And taking care of yourself. We talked about that too, but how important is it to you? And with, like you said about the video, a lot of people have trouble going on video and putting themselves out there. It's like, well, if you have all this in front of you, 50 reasons why your success is important, then go over here and be like, well, why can't I do a video? Oh, because I'm embarrassed, because I'm worried someone might say something about me, that my bald head or whatever. Like, yeah. So I would say do that. Write down. And my brother was just telling me to do this yesterday. He's like, hey man, he's like, write down, why this is important, and write down any reasons why you shouldn't do it, or the negatives if you don't do it. So yeah, I think just get in your head and realize like it's all on you, which is a good thing. Sometimes it could be overwhelming, but if you break it down into steps, I think it's very doable. Have an actual business plan. That's something that I was missing, was an actual strategy. So lots of times I would put advertising money out there and not really have any long-term strategy. I'm just hoping to get popular. And that's one other thing, is realizing I don't want to get popular like with likes. Like I want to sell my stuff now. Before it was way more of the narcissist and wanting people like me, want to be popular. It's like, no, I want to be popular as in all these people know me because they bought my books. So not because they saw some funny video I put up or whatever else.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, I think it's just go out and do it. Just crush it.
I think you hit the nail on the head, two nails on the head right there with what you said. And the first one is really for everyone to discover their driver or their why that's bigger than themselves. There's that whole thing about, do well in business so you can do well in life kind of thing, which I recently got told at Tony Robbins seminar. It's like, do well in business so you can do well in life. And I'm like, wow, I'd never thought of it that way. And then I think the other thing that you hit there was the cost of not taking action.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a whole different perspective. Like people go, oh, well, if I do this, then this will happen. And they don't often consider, what's the cost of actually not doing this? Am I going to be spinning my wheels in the same spot 5 years from now? And to me, no progress is, right? So, yeah, I think that's a great question that everyone should ask themselves. What's the cost of not taking action?
Yeah.
And what's the cost of not putting out that video or asking for an order or whatever it is?
Yeah, and going back to what we had talked about at the start about death too. One of my friends, I was talking about writing and how he gets all his ideas on paper, and so something that motivates him. And he's like, "How old are you?" And I told him, he's like, "Give it 5 more years." He's like, "When you realize that you're getting closer and closer to death," he's like, "that's a great motivator." It's like, I want to do all this before I die. I don't know when I'm going to die, so I want to start building it up now. I want to just build. I don't want to be lying on my deathbed being like, "Man, I wish I had done this," or if I just had gotten over that, I could have done this. Like, I don't want any kind of regrets like that. I was like, you know what? If nothing else, even if I'm not successful to where where I want to be, it's like, oh no, I know I did everything I could. I busted my ass trying to get there, and whatever, it is what it is.
That's it. Go to the top of the mountain or die trying, right? So
Exactly.
that's it. Well, that's awesome, man. Thanks for sharing all that worldly experience and for being my guest here today. And I just want to give you a plug for all your stuff. I mean, you guys who are listening and watching this, you can find Mark at YouCanFollow.me/Mark Tullius, Tullius, Mark Tullius. And yeah, check out Mark's books. I think they're awesome. And he has his own podcast and whatnot. So there's some interesting listening there. But check it out. We're going to give Mark a shout out on our business page on social media. Instagram, well, when I say social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We'll probably put this on YouTube as well. So this is all because Mark was our contest winner for last week. Just participating, taking the action, right?
Yeah. No, man, this is awesome. Thank you so much for having me on. And these kinds of talks, just all it does is make me, like, it helps ingrain the ideas even more. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, that's what I said. It makes sense. Now I got to go do it. So no, thank you for being a big part of it, dude. From a long time ago, from the very start, being positive, helping me achieve this mindset. It's taken me a long time, but and now you've given me a cool little tool to go along with it and help spread my disease. So
well, thanks, Mark, and we'll talk again soon. So.
All right, man. Thanks so much for having me on.
All right, sure.
Later.
Listen.